On the other hand, OpenAI has just made GPT 5.2 Codex accessible, a system capable of writing, correcting, and maintaining code autonomously, which immediately changes the reality of the developer profession. And this is only the beginning, because while intellectual work is being automated, Tesla is ending lifetime full self-driving to transform the car into a software service. At the same time, Sam Altman and Jony Ive are preparing a screenless AI device capable of bypassing the smartphone, while in the background, the confrontation between OpenAI and DeepSeek is redefining what it truly means to have usable artificial intelligence. Before going into detail, one important word. Many of you regularly return to the channel without being subscribed, and by clicking the subscribe button and the bell, you directly support an independent channel dedicated to rigorous and critical analysis of technological intelligence. Thank you sincerely for your loyalty. Now, let's begin with the most disturbing question of all, one that goes beyond technology itself. During a recent exchange, Elon Musk reignited a debate that Silicon Valley no longer dares to ignore by stating that human aging could be considered a simple biological programming problem. Behind this provocative statement lies a vision that is becoming increasingly widespread in tech. Artificial intelligence would not only optimize software or machines, but could also directly intervene in the fundamental mechanisms of the human body. The idea is not new, but today it takes on a new dimension because the combined progress of AI, computational biology, and genomics allows aging to be analyzed as a complex system made of cumulative errors, cellular degradation, and poorly regulated signals. In this logic, AI becomes a tool capable of identifying dysfunctions, simulating possible corrections, and accelerating the search for targeted treatments. This explains why a growing share of tech capital is flowing into bio-AI. This movement does not concern Elon Musk alone. Sam Altman is also investing heavily in this field through projects such as Retro Biosciences, with the explicit goal of significantly extending healthy human lifespan. However, this shift from tech toward living systems raises deep questions because intervening in aging affects not only medicine, but also the social, economic, and ethical balance of our societies. If AI begins to influence who can live longer and at what cost, the debate goes far beyond the scientific realm and becomes a major societal issue. What these statements reveal above all is that, for part of the technological elite, artificial intelligence is no longer just a productivity tool, but a potential lever to modify the very limits of the human condition. What is striking in this debate on aging is how far artificial intelligence is extending its field of action, moving from software to living systems. But while some see AI as a long-term tool capable of modifying human biology, others are already using it to radically transform human work here and now. And that is exactly what the next announcement shows. OpenAI has just crossed a very clear threshold. GPT 5.2. Codex is now accessible via the API, and this time we are no longer talking about an assistant that merely suggests code, but a system capable of acting autonomously on real projects. Codex can analyze an entire codebase, modify multiple files, run tests, interpret errors, and fix what does not work without constant supervision. The real breakthrough lies in its agent-based operation. GPT 5.2. Codex does not execute a single isolated instruction. It works in a loop. It attempts a solution, observes the result, understands what failed, and tries again until it achieves stable behavior. This is exactly what an experienced developer does when debugging a system in production, except that the model does it faster and without interruption. This directly affects the core of the developer profession as it exists today. Repetitive tasks, maintenance, classic debugging, and standard component integration can now be handled by AI. The human role shifts toward design, validation, and understanding business constraints. Those who only write code will have to evolve quickly. In terms of security, the impact is just as concrete. Codex can identify vulnerabilities, analyze risky implementations, and propose fixes adapted to the real context of an application. We are no longer talking about simple alerts, but about corrective actions directly applied to the system. This launch is not a distant promise. The tool is available in use and its effects are immediate. Manual coding is no longer the default standard. Value is shifting toward the ability to think about a system as a whole and supervise autonomous agents. GPT 5.2 Codex does not change the future of software development, it changes its present. This logic of total automation obviously does not stop with software development. It changes its present. This logic of total automation obviously does not stop with software development. When an intelligence becomes capable of acting alone on complex systems, the question is no longer only technical, it becomes economic. And this is exactly the same reasoning we see today in the automotive industry. This morning, Tesla made a strategic change that says far more than a simple pricing update. The manufacturer confirmed that full self-driving will no longer be available as a one-time purchase after February 14th, shifting instead to a subscription-only model priced at $99 per month. At first glance, this choice may seem purely commercial, but it actually reveals how Tesla now views its vehicles, not as finished products, but as evolving software platforms. For a long time, FSD was sold as a technological promise, a premium option meant to improve over time through updates while remaining permanently owned by the buyer. By ending this model, Tesla implicitly acknowledges that autonomous driving is not a fixed goal, but a continuous process requiring constant investment in computing, data, and increasingly complex AI model training. This shift to subscription profoundly transforms the relationship between Tesla and its customers. The user no longer truly owns a feature, but accesses a software intelligence that evolves, corrects itself, and improves continuously. For Elon Musk, this model is perfectly consistent with the vision of a car, defined primarily by its software, where value no longer lies mainly in hardware, but in the system's ability to learn from the real world and rapidly integrate new capabilities. Economically, this decision allows Tesla to secure predictable recurring revenue, essential for financing the massive expansion of its computing centers, the training of its vision models, and the scaling of its AI infrastructure. The car thus becomes an access point to an intelligent service in constant evolution, rather than a durable good purchased once and frozen in time. If Tesla shows how AI transforms a physical product into a permanent software service, another trend is emerging in parallel, even more radical, as it challenges the central object of our digital lives. After the software-defined car, it is now the interface itself that could disappear. A project is beginning to shake the mobile ecosystem by bringing together Sam Altman and Jony Ive around an AI device called Sweet Pea, whose ambition would be to completely rethink the interface between users and technology by eliminating the screen. Available information suggests a continuously worn intelligent audio device capable of understanding context, intent, and environment to offer natural and permanent interaction with artificial intelligence. What makes this initiative credible is the complementarity between the advanced AI models driven by Sam Altman and Jony Ive's minimalist design approach, historically focused on discrete, almost invisible objects deeply integrated into daily use. Unlike current voice assistants, Sweet Pea would aim for proactive interaction, in which the AI no longer waits for a precise command, but anticipates needs and acts as a continuous software layer. The threat to Apple is direct, because such a device would not seek to improve the smartphone, but to bypass it for a large share of everyday uses, notably communication, organization, and access to information. If this model takes hold, the center of the digital ecosystem could shift from the phone to ambient intelligence, always present but rarely visible. Even if the project has not yet been officially announced, the timeline mentioned for 2026 indicates that this vision is already advanced enough to be taken seriously. Sweet Pea would therefore not represent just another product, but a profound challenge to the role of screens and smartphones in our daily relationship with technology. Behind this hardware project lies a broader reality because none of these devices would exist without the artificial intelligence models that power them. And today, these models are no longer progressing in a technological vacuum, but in a context of direct confrontation between major players, each pushing a different vision of what truly useful AI should be. The launch of GPT 5.2 Codex also marks a direct response to DeepSeek, as rivalry between major AI players is no longer about model size but about real-world usefulness. Where DeepSeek has recently established itself with lighter, cheaper models, highly effective at targeted tasks such as software development, OpenAI has chosen another path by betting on agents capable of acting directly on complex systems. With Codex, OpenAI shows that strategic value no longer lies only in answer quality, but in operational autonomy. The ability to modify files, test changes, correct errors, and interact with infrastructures without constant human assistance. This approach consumes more resources, but clearly targets companies willing to pay for tools capable of producing measurable results rather than impressive demonstrations. The confrontation between OpenAI and DeepSeek thus illustrates two opposing visions of modern AI, one centered on power and autonomy, the other on efficiency and restraint. The stakes go far beyond technical considerations, as it is the very foundations of tomorrow's digital tools that are being decided in this battle. All of these developments tell the same story, even if they take different forms. Artificial intelligence is no longer a tool being tested, but a system embedding itself permanently into work, objects, and even our relationship with the human body. Whether it concerns code, cars, interfaces, or biology, the question is no longer whether these changes will happen, but how each of us will choose to adapt. Thank you for following this analysis to the end. See you very soon for what comes next.